Gulliver was shocked to discover ant-sized little people walking around on him. It turned out Gulliver accidentally fell on a Lilliputian. Not only was he tied up like a Christmas present, they even locked his size 200 clown shoes. Gulliver let out a huge roar. The stake bounced, launching him several meters into the air. Our bewildered protagonist thought he had entered a dream, but was confronted by a horse-riding general brandishing a spear longer than a giraffe's neck. The general threw a handful of hooks. One caught Gulliver's plump buttocks. Yanked hard, Gulliver fell flat on his back, ice cold all over. When he finally came to, he was dressed like in a moving vehicle. They passed through the city. Every hungry person mistook Gulliver for an alien invader. They carried him to the palace gates. Even the tall princess had never seen such a huge creature, looked at him in astonishment. Giant Gulliver pulled a carriage like a diligent farmer. Suddenly the kingdom was ambushed like balloons at a birthday party. Alarms blared as the panicked general grabbed the steering wheel. Gulliver, with a turbocharged engine, flew back to the palace at a staggering speed of 80 yards per second. Just as they reached their destination, the general performed a jaw-dropping backflip from backflip, speeding ahead. The White Horse Prince embarked on the mission to rescue the princess. But his clever aides knew his bravery like the back of their hands. They pressed a secret switch, freeing Gulliver from his restraints. Luckily, at the crucial moment, Gulliver arrived just in time. With a flick of two fingers, effortlessly rescued the princess. Just as the general thought he was the hero of the story, reality kicked in. But before he could set the princess down, another alarm sounded. The palace turned into a giant barbecue pit. The king trapped inside like a baked potato. Gulliver took off his shorts, sprayed a golden stream towards the palace, filling the air with a fragrant scent. Although it saved the king, who was full of wrinkles, that night the king held a celebration for Gulliver. Gulliver picked up a plate of dragon fruit, swallowed it in one gulp, began boasting that he was the father of Ultraman. The crowd stared wide-eyed, filled with admiration. The next day the king worshipped Gulliver endlessly, sent 10 million workers to build a luxurious villa for him. Even brewing a cup of soy milk required a team of people. In an instant Gulliver reached the peak of his life. More importantly, the king appointed him as a general because the previous general acted out of revenge. They were unaware that this spectacle had caught the attention of enemies located 1,000 kilometers away. They quickly informed the king to prepare for battle. Dozens of bombs poured down from the sky, fiercely bombing the palace. Faced with hundreds of warships, Gulliver took off his cheap red t-shirt, kicked off his oversized 200-yard canvas shoes. He marched with a ridiculous heroic stride. The enemy's successive cannonballs flew towards Gulliver, leaving delicious marks on his bacon-like belly. Gulliver's skin was thicker than that of a rhinoceros. In the blink of an eye, he unleashed the inner superhero within him, threw the cannonballs back at the enemy with great effort. They dived into the river like synchronized swimmers, dodging the fireworks display with mischievous smiles. He grabbed the ropes of each ship, starting the ultimate war game. The poor warships retreated at a speed faster than a startled cat running on a slippery floor. This epic confrontation made Gulliver a legendary figure, plunging the entire country into Gulliver mania. His face could be seen with every step plastered in every corner. From towering billboards to custom Gulliver apparel hotter than a supernova. The People's Square turned into a scene of chaos, with people fleeing like headless flies. Suddenly a giant egg appeared in front of Gulliver, challenging him. Unbeknownst to him, the former vengeful general had teamed up with the enemy, aiming to take down the hero of the people. Gulliver tried to remain calm, but his expression quickly changed. The red egg underwent a bizarre transformation, turning into a giant Iron Man figure. In the blink of an eye, Gulliver's confidence surpassed that of eating cookies, drinking milk. He turned around, attempting to retreat in panic, but before he could escape, the general grabbed his pants, plunging him into a comical frenzy of pants flipping. Gulliver's braided face vanished, replaced by his desperate "Please surrender," making gestures that professionals would be proud of. The disappointed onlookers could hardly believe their eyes. Shortly after, Gulliver found himself tied to a bed, trapped on another island. The next moment he found himself immobilized inside. Gulliver woke up wearing a princess dress, only to find himself trapped on a giant island shrunk to the size of a thumb. Before he could react, a baby bottle flew towards him, silencing the poor Gulliver's mouth. So our hero became a plaything. Just as Gulliver was content living his adventures at thumb size, he received a surprising message. It came from an envoy of Lilliput, where a woman much like Gulliver had been washed ashore, healed by the power of love. Our hero regained his determination. Wearing a makeshift parachute, he bid farewell to the giant island. Returned to the battlefield, this time with a goddess by his side. Gulliver immediately plunged into the battlefield, battling the mischievous robot army. In the end, Gulliver emerged victorious. Love has the power to transform the weakest soul into an undeniable force. Gulliver proved the extraordinary power of love, showed that even the smallest life can have a spark of courage.